waiting for the green flag. Green flag is waving here from Michigan International. We are green flag racing on Wednesday night with the Salt Flat Racing League's the Street Stock Shootout. A little bit, that's going to break up to 3 wide. Now we're 2 by 2. Now they're going to go 3 wide once again down the backstretch. The 3 wide racing just never ends over here with the Salt Flat Racing League. These street stock guys put on one heck of a show.
It definitely doesn't get boring. It's a handful.
As you see the 0-2 of Swartz sideways, the 37, the 30, they're all sideways.
Oh.
Around goes Cody, and Cole just misses the commitment line, but he's going to come in anyway.
That looked like something you see on Ice Capade. Whoa, got loose right there. Chris Brown kind of got into the back of Jonathan Platt and stuck him up against the wall there.
As they're still battling for that second position, the 04 and the 11. As that's going to let the 62 maybe get a little bit away as the 37 sideways. Can he save it?
He was hit twice there by the number 3 of Nicholas Darr, and I don't know, did he save it? Looks like he might have.
Saved it, but they're 4 wide, and we got the 43 up and over. There with the 11 is turned around.
Pulls away there on the straightaway.
Josiah fights back, runs about a lane lower than Chris Brown in the corner, trying to find that little grip as all 3 of those guys run a different line going through the corners. Every time the camera rotates, you see that red 37 getting closer, getting a little bit bigger, a little brighter in the mirror of the 27 of LaFoe. Ever so slightly, ever so slow, really in the mirror.
He does have enough time to definitely catch him. Does he have enough time to get around him? And I'm sure that once he gets behind him, he's going to be putting the pressure all over him. You can tell right now, you can see 34 lap-on tires on LaFoe's and 25 lap-on tires on Cold Days. You can see how much these tires make a difference.
Oh, you see a big wiggle out of the 27 as he came off turn 2 right there. Now Day is right on the bumper. What's he going to do when he gets here to turn 3? Right on the bumper, the 37 is. He gives the 27 a shot into the corner and then releases off the bumper. Now let's see what happens once they come off the corner. Now it's back to about a half car length lead here for the 27. Dan LaFoe into the wall, coming off turn 4. Cold Day all over the bumper. The 27 in the wall again. 37 to the inside for the lead as they go into turn 1. 5 laps to go. Now it looks like Day has the lead. He has cleared the 27. The 27 back to the bumper of the 37. He gives him a little tap right there. The 37 sideways off turn 2.
Yeah, these guys are they're doing a great job. I mean, they're giving each other some room right now. Actually, they're racing kind of calm, if you want to know the truth about it. But I can assure you that this is just a small little thunderstorm that's brewing for the big tornado that we're going to see towards the end of this race. And it's going to be a blast to watch. I'm telling you, it's going to get nasty out here. There's no roommates. There's no best friends. There ain't nothing when it comes down to about 20 to go, 15 to go with these guys. Every single one of them.
You're watching the onboard coming to the finish line. He's trying to duck underneath the 0-2. The 0-2 turns down. They go spinning across the line. Cody Griffin, the gap between Craig Swartz and Cody Griffin at the line. .004.
Doggone good racing.
Respect by those top 5 guys running side by side, door to door, and not getting into each other. That's what we love to see over here at MaxSpeedTV. Bobby, that's why we come out here to see good races like this.
Absolutely. I'd rather be watching this right here than doing anything else.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching MaxSpeedTV. Tonight, the Salt Flat Racing League pulls back the cover and unveils the brand new, all-new IROC series, showcasing a brand new paints, the brand new drivers, and altogether a new series that's traveling not only to these super speedways that we're going to see here tonight from the Daytona International Speedways, but this series will travel to the half miles, the 1.5 miles, the short tracks, the dirt tracks. They're even going to throw in one heck of a road course traveling over to the Roval. for the next 14 weeks. You're going to be able to watch over here on the MaxSpeedTV, the YouTube channel here. You're going to be able to take the journey along with myself, Roger Muth, and I got my co-host up here in the booth, Bobby Johnson. Bobby, we have waited all offseason to get here to Daytona. We've seen the working of the background of this league transform from just a Saturday night shootout league to a track to a series that has now grown to running an all-new IROC-inspired theme.
Roger, this league is as big as it gets just about in iRacing, especially for the super stocks. This is one huge league. These guys are tremendous at running these heavy cars. These cars had the little bitty, tiny, narrow wheels, but you know what? It doesn't stop these guys. They give it all they got every single lap. And this right here race is the Daytona 500, if you would, of the stock car series of Salt Flat Racing. 14 weeks of nothing but send it racing.
That's right, and there's 29 drivers registered here in the lobby to take on the Daytona International Speedway tonight in the Salt Flat IROC League opener here. And well, Bobby, I don't know about you, but I can tell you, I'm just excited. If you can remember back to last season, we saw 12 weeks of racing here with the Salt Flat boys, and not a single week was dull at all. And we're pretty much expecting the same thing. Like I said in the intro here, we got new drivers, new paints, traveling to new tracks. Daytona is one of those tracks that we didn't travel to last year as a points-paying race. We did see it in the All-Star race. They elected to make it the opener this year. And it's just a feel about starting the season out right here at Daytona is something that it just feels right. It feels like something that stock cars have to do, and they've done it this year. They made it their first race.
And it's perfect, too, because if you can remember back, which I'm sure you can't, but unfortunately I can, the IROC series actually started out at Daytona years back. And then they moved to Talladega and some of the, the super speedway stuff. And I'm telling you, that was a huge, huge success for NASCAR back in those days on TV. Well, now, these guys, in their infinite wisdom, decided to bring this into iRacing right here. And, man, has it took off like a huge success right now.
That it absolutely has. And you talk about success, Bobby. We got a new section, or a little new style that we're going to throw here. There with the Salt Flat League here. We got a new little skit that we're going to do. It's going to be something about spotlighting drivers out on track. So each week we're going to introduce one of the drivers who are always out here with the Salt Flat Racing League. And this week we got Chris Brown along with us in the booth. Chris Brown was one of the drivers. Bobby, you and I know Chris rather well. We've not only raced with Chris Brown on a weekly basis, we've also broadcasted Chris Brown on a weekly basis. And he's out here with the Salt Flat guys right there on screen, the driver of the number 1, the Salt Flat machine. Last year, Chris Brown ended up 3rd in points. He walked away with 7 top 5s, 9 top 10s out of the 12 race schedule. And we have a little introductory, I guess you want to say, getting to know your Salt Flat IROC drivers. And well, let's welcome Chris Brown to the booth. Chris, how are you tonight?
I'm pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Well, Bobby, he's probably doing a little bit better than us. It's a little cold in our neck of the woods, Chris, but first off, we got to thank you, Chris. You know, you are one of the veterans here for the United States. You served 4 years in the Navy and also another 5 years in the Marines. So, once again, thank you for your time and your service to your country.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for supporting.
Absolutely. For anybody that doesn't know Chris Brown is one of those drivers who, Bobby, like I just said, I mean, we've seen him out there. You can watch Chris Brown drive pretty much the wheels off anything. He's mainly a dirt guy. He's from Iowa, now moved to Kokomo, Indiana, so he can follow the midgets around the Indiana state. So, Chris, if you don't mind, we got a couple about 5-6 minutes here to talk with you. Tell us first off how you got into racing and who were your favorite drivers that kind of inspired you.
I got into racing when I was real young. My dad raced hobby stocks for one race. They blew up on the first lap of hot laps, and that was pretty much it. But been a race fan ever since. Grew up watching Kenny Schrader. Kenny Schrader is probably one of my favorite drivers, along with Tony Stewart. I watched those two guys a lot on Thursday Night Thunder when they were racing midgets and stuff. So, yeah.
Well, Kenny Schrader is one of those legends that's still out there racing stock cars today. You can actually find him any Saturday night all over the country driving dirt modifieds and whatnot, still out there today. I think last time I saw him back in the fall, he was out on track down south. I believe it was right in the Missouri area somewhere that he was running with Tony Stewart. So it's good to see that he still runs. But I mean, you talk about blowing up and whatnot. How about your iRacing rig? I know, how'd you get into iRacing here, and what kind of setup do you run out here on track daily?
Well, I got into iRacing about 2 years ago, I'd say. I started out with just racing with a mouse. Didn't really have a whole lot of stuff, and didn't run very many races to start out. And then I got a G920 steering wheel and pedals, and had just a regular stand for that. And I got tired of it being so wiggly and stuff, so I switched and I got a GT Omega stand, and I switched over to Fanatec for their steering wheel.
Well, now you talk about a Fanatec steering wheel. Is that one of those wheels that is actually going to break the bank for a lot of guys out there? Did it break the bank for you to get that?
I actually got mine off of eBay, so mine was a little bit cheaper. It was used, but it wasn't too bad. I only paid, only $1,300 for it, but yeah, they're a little expensive, but I mean, if you want to compete, you gotta get decent stuff. So
yeah, now Oculus Rift, I believe, is what you said. A lot of drivers are claiming that could make you a little bit motion sickness. Do you ever feel that out there on track?
You know, I did when I first started, but anymore, I've gotten so used to it that it doesn't really bother me anymore.
Well, that's good. We don't need him out here turning laps tonight, yakking in the passenger seat. That might cause a yellow flag out there, and we don't want to see those tonight. But now you talk about your time here on iRacing, and you talked about your father having a car at one point. Do you race yourself in real life, or do you wish you could? And if you could, what would you?
Actually, trying to work towards it right now. We're saving money, trying to get into mod light racing. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's just mini modifieds. They run 1,000cc motorcycle engines, but trying to get into that. But if I could race anything, I'd go with 410 sprint cars, non-wing.
410 sprint cars. Well, I've seen you out here on iRacing running the 410 sprints, and I certainly know you put on one heck of a show there. But talking about 410 sprints and iRacing in general here, talk about last year. We gave a little intro there. You know, you competed in last year's season. You finished third in points with 7 top 5s, 9 top 10s. Tell us about last year, and what are your expectations for this year in the Salt Flat IROC series?
Had a lot of bad luck last year. Was able to come back from some of it, but some of it I wasn't. It happened at the end of the race, so I had some bad finishes there. Thought maybe I could catch up with those guys and maybe win the championship. Ended up third. For this year, try to gain those 2 spots and win the championship is the biggest goal for right now.
Well, that's usually everybody's goal, is in the beginning of the year to set out to win the championship. Well, Chris, we got one little tidbit, last 5 questions for you here. Just a this or that for you. Do you prefer Coke or do you prefer Pepsi?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Coke on that one.
Well, it always goes good with the rum, I guess. Would you prefer to actually take your vacation by going to the beach, or are you more of a mountain man?
I'm a mountain guy. The scenery's just much better there.
Well, I think I know the answer to the next question, but we're going to ask it for you here anyway. Do you prefer football or basketball?
I'm a football guy. Love football, Iowa Hawkeyes, and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, one of those teams is doing pretty good. The other, well, not so much. How about a food here? Are you a seafood eater, or do you prefer yourself a good, well-grown steak?
I'm a Midwest guy. I got to have a steak.
Well, and your last one that Bobby and I have this discussion more than one time, quite often. Is it soda or is it pop?
Soda.
Well, there you have it, Bobby. Chris is going to be the tiebreaker here. He's going to choose soda.
Yeah, I know.
Well, Chris, thanks for being the first volunteer coming up here to do the driver spotlight for the Salt Flat Racing, the IROC series. We hope you have a good night. Right now, you're sitting out there 13th on the board, so have yourself a good race here. I know you're not, super pumped about being on a super speedway, but it's going to turn out to be one heck of a race out here tonight.
Yeah, I think it will be. Have fun up there, guys.
Absolutely. Have a good one out on track.
All right, thanks.
That was the driver of the number 1, Chris Brown. Chris Brown competed in 12 races last year, not able to come away with a victory, but did walk away inside your top 5 in points. Right now finds himself 14th on the speed chart. So we have to thank Chris Brown for being a good sport, coming up here to the booth, talking with Bobby and myself. So Bobby, we got about 3 minutes here left in practice tonight. Let's see if we can get to our pre-race here before we go any farther. Pre-race tonight. There it is. We're at the Daytona Beach, Daytona, USA. It's the Daytona International Speedway. This is the new track. It's not the bumpy old one from 2007. It's the fresh pave. 50 laps will be the distance here tonight. That equals out to 125 miles. Tire window, we have listed at 6 to 12. But really, Bobby, you and I both know tires, super speedway, not really going to make a difference. The only thing that's going to help is maybe if somebody gets up underneath you a little harder than you should, might keep you planted down to the ground a little bit longer. Fuel window tonight, 18 to about 21 laps. You might see a couple guys in the draft be able to stretch it just a bit farther. Pit road speed 55. It's something we're going to have to keep our eye on. It's a really cool night here in Daytona Beach. The air temp is 67 and the track temp, well, back down there at 67 degrees. Left-hand side of your screen right now is the top 10 out there. Rudy Cummings is out there at top of the board. Doug Ungari in the 00 is second here in practice. Robert Duvendak, one of the rookies, along with Jeff Pogo, third and fourth in practice here. Josiah Millen in fifth right now in practice, along with Cody Levitt. William Crossland right there, another rookie, seventh, and Donald Bennett, another rookie in eighth. Jeff Bergner, one of your returning guys from last year, in ninth, along with Jason Griffith there in the 10th spot. Coming up next in just about 2 minutes here from Daytona, we got qualifying. Also later on tonight here on the MaxSpeedTV YouTube, we got Racing for a Cause, the K&N series that's broadcasted by KR Stolfus over here. Tomorrow night on Thursday, we got the USRA, the Xfinity side. That's broadcasted by none other than the man Rudy Cummings, who's in this race here tonight. And then tomorrow night also you can catch myself, KR Stolfus, and Kelly Dahl broadcasting the Upstate Racing Pro Late Model, the Coach's Corner. That's coming up tomorrow night. But here, while we got a minute and a half left here in practice, we're going to step away for a moment. We're going to play your national anthem, and we will be right back with you with qualifying here from the Daytona International Raceway.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Qualifying is underway here from the Daytona International Speedway out there on track. One of your rookie drivers out there, the 117 of Timothy Smith, is coming out onto your backstretch to get to his warm-up lap here from Daytona. You see the sun is setting here in Daytona Beach. That means the track temp might get a little bit cooler. Going to allow a lot of these drivers to be able to get up on the wheel a little more, get behind the guys once we get out on track here at the race, or for the race, and start to push them just a little bit harder. You see Timothy Smith taking that outside line, as it takes a long time for these cars to get up to speed. You talk about the stock cars here from Daytona, you know, really, you know, taking about a lap and a half. It's more like these cars take about 2 laps to get up to speed. And for a qualifying session here from Daytona for 2 laps and 5 minutes for these cars, it takes quite a long time, right, Bobby?
Takes a long time, but I'll tell you what, it really is not going to matter, as we all know, as far as the qualifying goes. Some's going to want to start in the back, some in the middle, some up front. They're going to try to stay away from that infamous big one. So really qualifying, really it's not going to matter, because it doesn't matter where you can be at. The big one can still come up and bite you at any point of the race, and basically, you know, any place where you qualified at.
Yeah, we've seen wrecks happen here at Daytona, actually involving your first and second place cars, and ends up wiping out the entire field. You know, Bobby, we did some practice racing with these guys out here, Tim Smith being one of them. And we've seen Daytona go 2 different directions. We had a very good race where we actually ended up having 2 green flag pit stops, and we've had a Daytona race where, you know, sometimes drivers just get crossed up real quick.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's 2 types of races that we have seen, you know, that we've been with running these guys. I know we ran, what, 100 laps here just the other day with these guys for a good long practice race. And I started 32nd place. And, you know, of course, I finished behind you in 3rd. But as always, I guess what I'm trying to say is if you work and use your head and you're sensible and you're smart, you make your moves accordingly and kind of stay out of trouble, you can work your way up to the front. But these type of stock cars are different than anything else that's in iRacing right now. If you're going to work your way up to the front, you're going to have to beat and bang your way up to the front.
Absolutely, and that's what street stocks are all about, beating and banging, as we're watching Hunter Conley. But I just saw some new guy shoot to the top of the board. Let's take a look at who that was. The 31 of Donald Bennett, one of the orange cars out here. He's driving for Keystone Motorsports, one of those Pennsylvania drivers. Him and the driver of the number 40, Josiah Millen, teammates out here. Right now, Donald Bennett, a rookie, has it on pole. Actually, he just gets bumped backwards now by Colton Farrow, who put in his second timed lap there, driver of the 62. He's going to be driving one of the red ones. You're going to notice all the fans out there who are tuning in tonight, as you see a bunch of guys actually coming in now. Jeff Bergner now goes to the top of the speed charts. You're going to notice that a lot of these guys have different colors on their car. Some of them have the same color. Tonight, watch for that. That's going to, tonight at Daytona and any of the larger tracks that we go to, like Michigan, possibly Auto Club, you're going to be seeing guys that have the same color on their car working together, whether it be on track drafting or coming into the pits at the same time. You're going to see a lot of strategy played out. So watch the same guys with the same colors start to work together tonight. Jeff Bergner right now, though, has your number 1 spot out there, as we got under a minute now to go. Over half the field has put in a qualifying time. Jamie Leach right now is 2nd on the board. Robert Duvendak is 3rd. Michael Whitaker is 4th position. Troy Lent is out there in the 5th position. He's put in 2 lap times. Now he's on pit road. Timmy Smith, who we had watched there in the 117, is 6th on the boards. Doug Ungari is 8th. Danny Valenzuela, who's still out here, it looks like possibly turning his 2nd lap. He's out here in the 8th position. Donald Bennett is now back into your 9th position. And another rookie out here, the 141 of Greg O'Berry, is now in your top 10, rounding out your top 10. Only 1 driver right now out there on track, actually possibly 2 drivers out there on track still turning a lap. The 09 of JP Brennan, another one of the rookies. You're going to notice a lot of the rookies, if they have not been in the Salt Flat Racing Leagues for very long, they will have gray paint schemes. Doesn't mean that those drivers necessarily will be working together, but they are classified as your rookie, as there goes the qualifying attempt. All qualifiers that took time are now in the book. It's almost about that time that we're going to start running down through your order, but we're waiting for these guys to come out in grid. But as we were talking, you're going to see guys with gray cars out there. That does not mean that they are working together. That just means they weren't in the league long enough. You will see guys with R's on their name scrolling across the top of the board. That does mean they are still classified as a rookie. That means they have not run more than 4 races in the league before. So that's something that we're just have to pay attention to throughout this race and throughout the season, as that's something that we'll be able to watch and see kind of how that plays out for them. See how they work.
Roger, if you want
through
to,
and everything.
I'm going to go ahead. Roger, and I'm going to say this right now, just because me and you have such long discrepancies and long talked about it. I just got myself 2 soda pops. Got it sitting down beside me here in my rig, because I'm not going to get up for 1 second and miss any bit of this excitement. Because this right here, anybody that's watching out there on YouTube, the iRacing and everything else, this is going to be something you've never really seen before. These guys are going to beat and bang each other all the way for over 50 laps. And basically what that means is these things are skinny tires. They're hard to handle. When you're getting beat up like that, they're not as big as tires as what the other ones are anywhere in iRacing, the trucks and your K&Ns and your Monster Energies. These are narrow tires, so it's going to be really, really hard to try to keep from guy from spinning you that's bumping you, trying to get a position from you. They're going to stay tight. They're going to stay close. And as I've always said it, Roger, it's a herd of turtles.
That's right. Well, let's see if we can work through this qualifying grid. Congratulations to the number 21 of Jeff Bergner. He takes the next level of racing pole position here from Daytona Speedway. So Jeff Bergner going to start out here on the pole. The number 88 of Jamie Leach making his first showing here from the Daytona International with Salt Flat going to start second. Third position is going to go to the driver of the number 12, Robert Duvendak. Michael Whitaker in this 707 is going to roll off in your fourth position here this evening. Fifth position is going to go to the 023 of Troy Lent. Timothy Smith's going to start there in your sixth position, driving the 117 machine. Seventh position is going to go to the 00 of Doug Ongari. Danny Valenzuela in the 04 going to start in your eighth position. Ninth position going to go to Donald Bennett in the 31. The 141 of Greg O'Barry going to start in the 10th position.
Your 11th position is going to be the 985 of Jason Griffin. 12th position, the 54 of Orlando Rivera. 13th position is held by the number 7 of Hunter Conley. 14th position, William Crossland. Looks like the 15th position is going to be held by 91 of Willie Evernham. 16th position, the 247 of Mr. Jay Stiffy. 17th position, number 62 of Colton Farrell. 18th position of the 140, Dwayne LaPrade. 19th position, the 77 of Kerry Chim. The 20th position, 09, J.P. Brennan.
Starting in your 21st position, going to be the driver of the 03, Rudy Cummings. The spotlight driver of the night, the number 1 of Chris Brown, going to start in your 22nd position. 23rd position is going to go to the 107, Herman Reynolds. Little Jeff Pogo and his Pogo stick out here tonight, driving the 24, starting in 24th position. Cody Levitt in the 38, starting in your 25th position. Andrew Davis in the 22, starting 26th. The 05 of Timmy Valenzuela starting in your 27th position. Jared Haggergorn starting in your 28th position. 29th goes to the 71, Chris Lagoo, and the number 40, Josiah Millen, starts in your 30th position. That rounds out your field as Bobby Johnson is not out there racing. He's in the booth here tonight with us. Well, Bobby, it's about that time here. Just about ready to go green flag racing for the first time. The first time we're going to see these Salt Flat, the IROC series out there on track. The pace car is in. The green flag is waving. We are racing for the first time with the Salt Flat Racing, the IROC series here from Daytona. Great start from everybody out there on the pack as we work through the tri-oval for the first time. Jeff Bergner gonna switch lanes, gonna go from the bottom lane to the top lane. Now he's gonna go right back to the bottom, right in front of the number 12 of Robert Duvendak. As you see, two different packs forming already before we're even off turn number 2.
What's nice about this thing is, Roger, is no matter how well you're driving, you are not going to run off and leave anybody behind you. They are eventually going to catch up with you, and they're going to beat and bang you all the way around this track. The key is can you hold your car straight when you are getting your tail end beat off by the guy behind you? Everybody wants to try to get up and lead some laps. This is the first race of the season, and let's face it, man, this is the Daytona of Salt Flat Racing. Everybody wants this win.
Absolutely, as they work off turn number 4 for the first time. Jeff Bergner to the inside, getting a great push from the number 023 there of Troy Lent, who's going to lead the first lap. First lap's in the books here for the Salt Flat Racing League, the IROC Series, and the first lap's going to be led by the 21, Jeff Bergner. So 1 lap in the book for the season, and what a great one it is. Look at all those colors out there on track here.
And it looks just like the old iRacing itself. They're all tucked up. I mean, you could throw a blanket over the first 12, 14, 15 cars, if you will. This is definitely an exciting thing, and they also watch him carefully because there's not only doing bump drafting, but they're also doing that ever so dangerous side drafting. They're literally almost banging off each other's inside doors.
And if you saw that on the outside lane there coming down the backstretch, you saw that bright green car. That's going to be the 04 there of Danny Valenzuela himself. He was all sorts of sideways as he was giving Michael Whitaker in the 707 machine, who's right in front of him in that dark blue colored car. He was all sorts of sideways and out of shape coming down the backstretch. So even on the straightaway, these street stocks at these speeds of 155 miles an hour are one heck of a handful.
If you notice, Jeff Bergner and Robert Duvendak up there 1 and 2. Watch when they're coming into those turns and coming out of those turns into the straightaway. I mean, you couldn't put a pogo stick, if you will, between these two cars. That's how tight they're drafting on this side draft thing. Every little inch, every little thing you can do to move forward is what these guys you have to do.
Absolutely, and they're coming off the turn there that time. The 023 of Troy Lent, you saw him all sorts of sideways as it looks like Doug Ungari's going 3 wide up the middle here. This is the first time we've seen 3 wide battling from Daytona. 3 wide here on the third lap. Doug Ungari in the middle. Troy Lent to the inside and Jamie Leach on the outside as they're going to come off turn number 4 here. Still 3 wide. As Michael Whitaker into the outside wall coming off turn 4. That bottles Danny Valenzuela there. Danny's going to have to take evasive actions. He's going to go to the inside. Now we're 3 wide for at the front and 3 wide here in the middle of the pack. 3 wide racing all over. That's what the street stocks, the IROCs, put out here.
Nobody forgot to tell these guys, Rogers, there is still 45 laps to go in this race. I really don't think anybody cares right now. All they want to do is get up towards the front and lead some laps and show their car off and show themselves off for this very first race of the season.
You talk about showing off. Look at Doug Ungari's driver photo here on screen. He's showing off in more than one way. He showed us that he was going to be the first one here at Daytona to go 3 wide. He started back in your 7th position. Now he's pushing the 12 of Robert Duvendak to the lead. So now put 3 drivers who know each other onto the outside. Duvendak, Ungari, and Leach are your 3 on the outside. That leaves Bergner, Lent, and Smith to the inside there. Who's going to have the better momentum working together? Let's see who's going to lead this time at the line. Is it going to be the 12 of Duvendak to the outside, or is it going to be Jeff Bergner to the inside? So far, it's been all Bergner that time at the line. Give it to the driver of the number 12. Robert Duvendak's going to stamp his number, stamp his name into the record book here for the Salt Flat Racing League. He's going to lead a lap here from Daytona.
It is less than a second from number 1 position all the way down to about the 20th position. It's less than the blink of an eye, basically. And you've really got to watch what you're doing out here, Roger. You know as well as I do, it is such tight racing. If you just make a tad little bit of a mistake at all in your wheel whatsoever, you're just going to cause a bad day for everybody.
Well, so far, 4 laps in the books here from Daytona. 3 laps led by the guy on the inside of Jeff Bergner, and then 1 lap has been led by Robert Duvendak. As you see on screen, there are 2 different distinct packs formed right now. You got this one up front that involves, well, it looks like just about your top 17 drivers. Then you got to go a little bit farther back here, and it looks like the 22 of Andrew Davis is leading this second pack. That second pack involves Davis. Looks like Rudy Cummings there to the inside. Josiah Millen in that number 40 is also back here. Chris Legou, Jared Hagerdorn, Timmy Valenzuela, Chris Brown, Cody Levitt, and then I think there's possibly just a little bit of a gap. I'm not sure. Is there another pack out there, Bobby? I'm not sure.
Not really, no. I think you just got the packs right down perfectly. But I'll tell you what you do have. These guys that are set back here in this second pack, nobody out there is watching this broadcast. Do not let any one of those guys fool you. They have a strategy. They know exactly what they're going to do. They're going to hang out. They're going to let the laps count down. And before you know it, they're going to work their way right up front. The problem of it is they're going to have to work really hard to get up front.
JP Brennan right now there in the 09 car. He's the guy that's kind of the odd man out, as you will. He's in between both these packs. Lost the draft of the front pack, but now the back pack of Rudy Cummings and led by Rudy Cummings and Andrew Davis. Both of those drivers are running down JP Brennan as he's just kind of stuck in no man's land until that second pack catches up. Then he'll be able to funnel in somewhere and get himself a draft. As we go back up front, though, still side by side. Really hasn't changed too much since we were up here last. They swapped the lead back a handful of times. That's just between Jeff Bergner and Robert Duvendak. No other big moves so far since Doug Ungari went 3 wide, and then when Michael Whitaker got into the outside wall. That forced them 3 wide once again. They've kind of settled down since then.
Talk about some guys that are on the move right now, the one that we've been running with on practice. You want to keep your eye out for that number 24 of little Jeff Pogo. This guy knows how to run super speedways. He's fast, he's quick, but another most important thing is he's smart. He knows when to make the moves, when he needs to make them. He reminds me a lot of Chris Brown that's running out here, the exact same thing. These veterans that run these stock cars, they know exactly when to make the moves and make them count. So you keep your eye out on that number 24 because he's sitting there, but I'm telling you, he's coming.
That time at the line, Robert Duvendak led the way once again. So 3 laps led by the driver of the 12 and another 4 laps led by the driver of the 21. So if you got a 2 or a 1 in your number right now, you led a lap here from Daytona in the early goings. Bobby, 7 laps in the books here. It kind of seems like we've done probably about 20 laps already, but it's only 7 laps in the books, and we got 2 packs and a bunch of good racing going on.
You got a lot of good racing going on. These guys are actually pretty comfortable with each other, and they should be. They've had enough practice sessions out there to get comfortable with each other because basically you better be very comfortable in your surroundings out here or it's just going to be a mayhem and nothing but a wreck fest. But as you can see, these guys have settled down. They've done their practice. They've done their homework, and they're actually running a really smart race.
You talk about running a smart race. It's good racing. 8 laps in the book here from Daytona as we see somebody coming off pit road that looks like the 62 of Colton Farrow. Not sure what happened with him. He's quite a few laps down. There's a couple drivers actually on pit road. It looks like the 140 of Dwayne LaPrade also on pit road. So a couple guys, a couple laps down here. Not sure what happened.
Trouble in the back part back here.
Oh boy, Bobby, it looks like the big one from Daytona has happened. It looks like just about everybody was involved in that one as we were watching guys come off pit road. A bunch of guys turned around, still turned around. A couple of them still banging into each other. Let's see if we can take our first MaxSpeedTV replay here for the first race of the season here with the Salt Flat guys. Let's go. I think I see Jeff Bergner, who was your leader. I think he's got involved in that as he's way down the speed chart. So let's see what happened here between your leaders. Like we said, it could happen anywhere. Oh, the 12 of Duvendak got a little loose off the front bumper of Ungari, and that just kind of wadded up the rest of the field. At Daytona, when big ones happen like this, you just don't know what's going to happen or who's going to end up where. And you saw a bunch of guys just come into the picture, and I mean, you still see them crashing.
Yeah, the 00 got right into the back of Duvendak right there, just coming right out of that turn. And you know what? That's all fine and dandy, but you've got to be square bumper to bumper if you're going to do that kind of bump drafting in there. And Robert, I'm sure he had his wheels turned just as hard to the right as he normally would left going around here to try to counter steer and get out of that, but he couldn't do it, and unfortunately, this is what happens.
There you see it once again, just a bump gone wrong, and it just took the whole entire field along with it. You see him crashing all over the place here. And a lot of that can be, Bobby, just somebody checked up in the wrong place, and the guy behind him wasn't expecting it, and it just wipes out the entire field.
That you're absolutely correct on that. If you get pushed just a little bit on the wrong side, you get just a little bit loose, you try to check up and gather it, but when you gather it, you're going to get ran over.
Well, they do have 2 quick repairs out here for Daytona because they know sometimes things like this can happen. Just a bump draft gone wrong, and it takes the entire field along with him. So now we're going to see our first pit stops of the night. Doug Ungari is going to lead Jason Griffith down pit road along with Michael Whitaker, Greg O'Berry, Tim Smith coming along with Hunter Conley, Jay Steffi, Orlando Rivera, JP Brennan, and Danny Valenzuela going to be your top 10 coming down pit road. So you see a bunch of guys already on pit road with tore-up race cars. Not something you want to see here on lap 10, but kind of inevitable. You kind of come to Daytona expecting to see something like that happen, and we just saw it play out there right before our eyes.
You know, it was really something because when this accident happened up there at the front of the pack, simultaneously at the same time, Roger, back in that second pack, Josiah Millen got all loose, and he basically started a kind of a wreck fest, if you will, back there in that second pack, and it was kind of melee also back there. Both of them, both packs at the same time just about.
As here's going to see a race off pit road. Looks like Michael Whitaker in the 707 is going to win that race off pit road between him and Doug Ungari. A couple guys electing to stay out here, though. That's going to be the 04 Danny Valenzuela. Timmy Valenzuela also going to stay out. Those guys both look to have damage on those machines. They're probably going to be just out there to get a bonus point, if you will, because this league does give away a bonus point for a lap led. I believe they also get a bonus point for the most laps led, and I believe a clean race will get you a bonus point, but unfortunately, Bobby, I think that one has pretty much been taken away from a lot of these drivers already.
Yeah, you could take that the clean bonus thing and probably throw it right out the window on this track right here with these guys. But what's awesome about this again is you got 2 fast repairs, so no harm, no foul. Get back up in there, get ready in your rig, get together, get a nice cold drink in there before that green flag, and have at it. Get right back at it.
As let's see, this time by is the 04, the 04 of Danny Valenzuela. Yes, the 04 and the 05 both are going to come down pit road, so that's going to hand the race lead over to, it looks like, the 985 of Jason Griffith. He told me if he gets the lead, though, we had to say go Vols, and, well, I guess we're saying it one time for himself. Go Vols. Jason Griffith now out front here from Daytona. Did not lead that lap, so does not get a bonus point, but it looks like he'll just end up staying out here and driving around a little bit. He knows it's the first caution. He knows there's still a handful of laps before he'll have to take his first pit stint, so he's still good right now. He's in an okay position.
Oh yeah, like I said, no harm, no foul. Now the only problem is if you got in that wreck and it was so bad of a wreck that you were unable to physically drive the vehicle back into to pit road, then you're going to be about a lap or 2, sometimes 3 or 4 behind, depending on when the green flag takes back off again. And that might be a little hard to get back. But you know what? We saw 2 cautions right here, and I'm pretty sure, Roger, you haven't seen the last.
Yeah, most likely haven't seen the last of the carnage from Daytona. But you know what, Bobby? These are the street stocks. They can take a little bit of a beating and banging. You and I know that pretty well. You can crunch up the front end of these cars, and it's not going to affect you like it would, your K&N car or your Xfinity car, especially the Cup car. You get a little bit of damage on the Cup car, and it's pretty much over with. Here at the street stocks, beating, banging them, tearing up the fenders, it's kind of what they're meant for. So they will still draft, they will still handle. Shouldn't have a problem here going forward with a bunch of these cars with just a little bit of damage. I mean, yeah, if you look back through the field here, I believe Rudy Cummings in the 03, he has quite a bit of damage on that front end. That car might have a little bit of trouble getting up to speed.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to put a whole lot of damage onto these cars, and if you do, well, yeah, you've got to come in and get that thing fixed. But you could take a licking and keep on ticking, if you will, in these type of stock cars. They're very, very heavy, and, you're right. You can basically play bumper cars with them out on the track. The only thing that you got to worry about is you have all different level of drivers out here. You've got A, B, C, D rookies, all of them that are in this, this league right here. And you got to kind of now know who you can draft with, who you can bump, who you can hit, and who you can't. And that's something that's going to take time throughout this league for them guys to learn each other.
And we got to make a clerical error here, or we got to fix our clerical error. Jason Griffith did come down pit road, so he is on the same pit sequence as everybody else. He was the winner off pit road. We must have missed it. It actually looks like he spent only 23.3 seconds on pit road, so he most likely only took 2 tires on that 985. Like we talked earlier, not going to make a big difference here from Daytona. Michael Whitaker, though, was the first one who spent 29 seconds. That's something you also got to take into consideration. 29 seconds for a pit stop. That means you spent about 50 seconds on pit road from the commitment cone all the way to the pit exit cone. That is a long time. That's a complete lap just about here for these street stocks. So green flag pit stops, if we see them, could possibly result in you going a lap down. So you're going to have to hit pit road just perfectly.
And then you're going to have to hit pit road. You're going to have a team player. That's where the team thing comes in. You definitely don't want to come into pit road by yourself because you're going to run around the track by yourself. You're going to want to have some help to get back up there and motor around this track. Also, something you got to remember here, Roger, it's getting dark right now, and with the new iRacing format they got going on, if you notice, it's getting darker and darker and darker. That means it's going to be nice and cool.
Green
Looks like we
flag's
got a
waving.
green flag.
That's exactly what I was just about to say, is the green flag's waving. We're back racing here. Jason Griffith to the inside, being pushed by the 00 there of Doug Ungari. Michael Whitaker to the outside, being pushed by one of those rookies out there, the 141 of Greg O'Berry. Greg O'Berry, one of those guys, works for one of those universities just like Jason Griffith, but he works for Liberty University. He's out here tonight turning laps. Good to see him in attendance. It's always good to see all all these drivers out there on track, and especially running towards the front here, so a good showing by O'Barry as he's slotted right now in your third position in that 141. Down the backstretch, you see kind of a little bit of a single file, maybe a little bit of a bobble towards the middle of the field there. I believe that's the 22 of Andrew Davis stuck here on the outside in that bright yellow car. Kind of checked up that outside line, didn't go.
Already.
As trouble towards the front of the field here, it looks like Michael Whitaker is up and over in the 707 machine. Not sure what happened. We're going to have to go back and take another replay here in a moment once we find exactly. That looks like the number 2 there. Also going to be involved. That's Jared Hagerdorn. The 77 there of Kerry Chim is involved. Let's go back on another MaxSpeedTV replay and see what happened for the driver of the 707. Michael Whitaker going up and over here from Daytona. Let's see what happened to him. Craig O'Barry also losing spots. There you see Michael Whitaker on that inside lane, your first car on the inside being pushed by. That was Jason Griffith as he made the move. Oh, maybe just a little bit. It looks like Whitaker came up the track just a little bit into O'Barry, and then that sent O'Barry and him around. Looks like Orlando Rivera also involved. There comes Jared Hagerdorn sliding through the grass. Cody Levitt coming to a complete stop just about on that apron there in the purple car. Kerry Chim in the 77s over here tangled up with the 24 of Jeff Pogo. Those guys are down here on that inside grass there. Well, let's see if we can back it up just a little bit farther, Bobby, and see what we can see there.
Kind of looks like they were just basically doing that good old hard door-to-door drafting right there, and kind of went up just a little bit up there at the front. And, you know, you kind of get up there a little bit. Trouble.
As you go on board with Jason Griffith right there, 707 of Michael Whitaker right in front. You see him just move up just a tad, and that's all it takes for a driver to go around here. Craig O'Barry also up and over on his lid. He's going to have to take, or actually he's back on his wheels. I thought there for a moment that he was going to have to take a tow, but he's back on the wheels, and I think a couple guys elected to come down pit road that time. We kind of missed it there watching that replay, so it looked like Jason Griffith coming down pit road. He's going to elect to come down and see if there was any damage on that machine. Jeff Bergner also down pit road, along with Cody Levitt back there towards the back. He's coming down pit road also. Doug Ungari back on pit road. A lot of these guys just taking the time, put 4 fresh tires on her, put some fuel in her. This, Bobby, if it comes down to it, towards the end of this race, it could come down to a fuel mileage race. And with these guys only able to go about 20, we're going to say 20 laps here. We're keeping an eye on that if we get green flag runs just far enough to get into that. Every time you come down and top off the fuel tank, gets you a little bit farther, gets you a half a lap, gets you a whole lap closer.
Exactly, and that's exactly what you're going to have to do, because you're probably right. This is going to probably be a fuel mileage race. Every chance you can, you want to go down there and you got to top off that fuel tank. Now look, you can run over 100 miles or 100 laps and not take any tires whatsoever, because me and you have done it already. But you have to have that fuel to finish the race. And every chance they get, even if it's only a 0.3 or a 0.2, they're going to go in there, especially on a caution, and they're going to get that, because that right there could be the difference between a winner and a loser.
Well, at the top of your screen, you see your top 5 after 15 laps here from Daytona. Hunter Conley finds himself out front. Timmy Smith finding himself in the 2nd position. J.P. Brennan finds that 09 now in the 3rd position. Jay Steffi in the 247 finds himself in 4th. And Willie Evernham in the 91 finds himself inside your top 5. Going a little bit through the order here from the 5th position. Running sick, the 54, the rookie of Orlando Rivera. Sitting in the 7th position is going to be the 88 of Jamie Leach. Chris Brown, your driver spotlight of the night, now inside your top 10, running in your 8th position. Donald Bennett in your 31, running in the 9th position. And his teammate in the 40, Josiah Millen, finds himself inside your top 10. So right now, your top 10 is shuffled a lot. Remember back, just about 10 laps ago, we had Jeff Bergner and Robert Duvendak inside your top 10, actually battling for your lead in positions 1 and 2, side by side for a number of laps. There now, Jeff Bergner running in your 16th spot, and Robert Duvendak all the way back in your 21st position. So just a couple drivers that are, it seemed like a couple of these guys that were running out back, staying away from the trouble, now finds themselves out front, and the guys who were out front got in trouble, and they find themselves all the way in the back.
It doesn't matter where you're at in this pack. The Grim Reaper's going to come down and it's going to grab a hold of you. It's that simple. Now what you got to worry about, Rogers, how many incidents has these guys gotten into, because they only have, what, 2 fast repairs? Is that correct?
2 fast repairs, and we've seen 2 yellows here tonight. One really big one and one that took out a handful of cars. Well, Bobby, it's that time. Let's see, maybe we can find somebody here on track. I believe we have the driver of the number 7 of Hunter Conley, who is out front right now. Hunter, you got a copy? Hunter Conley,
Hello?
it's Roger and Bobby up in the booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, I copy you.
Hunter, I know we're only 16 laps here. We're going to be coming to 1 to go, I believe, this time by, so we'll make it short here with you. How is the track out there? How's the driving? Are these cars a handful as they look here on screen?
Depending on who's bumping you, they are, it's white knuckles. But from my point of view so far, it seems if you can get the right guys on the outside's kind of like a conveyor belt almost to the front. So if you can get to the outside and just hope that whoever's on the outside, if you're trying to work your way through the field, that they keep dropping down to the front of the inside line, you'll slowly make your way up. And that's kind of how I got here. I saved the car through 2 wrecks now. I don't know how I got through either of them. But yeah, it's just been a whirlwind.
Well, now that you made your way to the front, are you going to stay there, and do you have any help from behind?
As of right now, I don't know if I have any, like, for sure help from behind. I'm definitely going to need to pit before most of the people behind me, I believe, because I think I'm one of the few people that stayed out. I could be wrong about that. But so far it's been, I think, pretty good racing. Just those first 2 incidents, I think, were just hard racing incidents almost, really. But yeah, coming up to the green flag here, I'm hoping to keep this lead as long as I can. And hopefully I can find someone that can push me real well.
Well, we hope you find a dancing partner, and we hope you keep it pointed in the right direction as you're coming through turns 3 and 4 here. We'll get you back down to the room, and good luck the rest of the way. Keep that number 7 clean as can be.
All right, thank you, 10-4.
Well, you heard it, Bobby. We're at Daytona, and he doesn't know if he has a driving partner per se out there. He's going to have to find one real soon, because here at Daytona, if you don't have a dancing partner, you're going to be left behind here real quick. Coming out of turns number 3 and 4, though, just about to get the green flag once again. There you see that Porsche pace car ducking off here. They're going to tighten it up. The green flag is waving. Hunter Conley's on the loud pedal. Timmy Smith with a little bit of wheel spin to the outside. You see Smith going to come down the banking, trying to get onto that quarter panel of the 7 of Hunter Conley. He's actually going to duck behind them. Now it's a 2-car breakaway right now at the front. They got about 2-3 cars on the 3rd place driver of the 09, J.P. Brennan right now. Brennan has Willie Evernham in the 91 pushing the daylights out of him. And now it looks like Jay Steffi and the 247 is going to go single file. So we're single file for about your first 8 cars.
Well, that's exactly what these guys are wanting to do. They actually had that rookie, J.P. Brennan, was behind a Hunter Conley right there on that takeoff at the beginning of that start up right there. And he was thinking, oh gosh, come on, get up in there, jump down underneath there, Timothy, and me and you get together and we'll push our way out. That's one thing that you got to be careful about right now. He said it all the way. Who can I get the trust to push me? And that right there is the key to this whole entire race.
Well, it looks like we're still pretty calm at the front of the field there. I think I saw the 40 of Josiah Millen. No, it wasn't the 40 of Josiah Millen. Not sure who that was. Somebody looked like they were down on the apron that time coming through real close to pit road. I'm not quite sure who it was. I didn't get a good glimpse of it, as right now it looks like Robert Duvendak, who's battling towards the back of this field here. If I can find, there's Robert Duvendak. He was below the yellow line going into turn number 1. Danny Valenzuela did not see him. These cars do have blind spots, so if this driver does not see him on either side, that could play havoc there, and it sort of looked like we were going to have a moment there coming down into turn number 1. Fortunately for the driver of the 12, Valenzuela did see him and gave way to him, as now it's going to put Ungari behind Robert Duvendak with Jared Hagler and 3 drivers that work together very well. Underdog Racing right there for the 00 and the number 2. That's Ungari and Hagerdorn, and they're going to be working together. They're going to get Robert Duvendak back to the front there, and they can start battling. At the front, though, still the 7 of Hunter Conley, Timothy Smith there in your second position there in the 117. J.P. Brennan coming to the outside with a big push from the 247 of Jay Steffi. So we're just going to be here in a moment. Once that outside line gets organized, we're going to see 2 wide racing again for the lead. Right now, it's just 2 wide for second place, Hunter Conley being the guy out front.
And they're basically, you can throw a blanket over the first 10, 12 cars right here, and that's just how tight that these cars absolutely run. I mean, it's almost like they can't even get out of their own way without a little bit of help from your friends, as what the Beatles song would say. They've got to get help, they got to get a good push, and also someone's going to push me and not turn me.
That's something you always have to worry about. That's why these leagues, they do practice races like we saw through the week. You know, you get out here, you learn who you're driving with, you learn who you can push with. A lot of these guys, unfortunately, because, you know, this is iRacing. You know, this isn't a real physical life, you know, life or death kind of racing. A couple of these guys have real jobs outside of here, unlike, you know, like you said earlier, Chris Brown, who spends a lot of time on iRacing. So they're not able to make practice races, but it's showing here tonight that a lot of these drivers and the professional mannerism that they have here being able to run side by side like this.
Oh, absolutely. That's exactly what they're doing. It's all about the practicing and knowing each other and how each other drives, who you can push, who you can't push, and when you can push them and when you can't. Speaking of the pushing, right there, Chris Brown, for instance, he's right now in the 9th position. But look at him. He's got his bumper buried underneath the 88 of Jamie Leach.
Chris Brown there in that hot pink #1 machine. It's kind of hard when we're at a track like Daytona to tell you exactly who is who, but with these brightly colored cars, it definitely helps point out a driver. There's Chris Brown out there in that hot pink #1 machine. Looks like he's going about 3 wide right now. He's going to shoot the gap. Jamie Leach to the inside. Kerry Chim to the outside. Kerry Chim getting a little bit of the wall. Josiah Millen going to follow him right into the wall. That's going to allow Chris Brown to go to the outside behind Orlando Rivera now. He's going to slot himself to being the 4th car on the outside, right behind Rivera and right in front of Kerry Chim.
It's extremely easy to get that, what I call tunnel vision, Roger. You know what it's all about. You've been running around behind a guy on this track for several laps. All of a sudden, he happens to go up and kind of smack the wall. You're going to follow him exactly right into the wall because you're used to being on his bumper the entire race.
Right now, timing and scoring shows that the 09 of J.P. Brennan out front, nosing out Hunter Conley. But Conley's going to fight back there with Timmy Smith pushing him on that inside lane. So good battle here for the lead. Can Hunter Conley still retain the lead this time at the line as they work through turn number 3 and 4, coming off turn 4 right there. Conley to the inside, but it looks like Brennan might have the momentum on the outside, but they only got 3 cars right there at the line. Who led at that time? Hunter Conley's going to lead another one here. Put 9 laps. Oh, big trouble going to the inside. Jamie Leach turned around. Orlando Rivera. And it looks like the 91 of Willie Evernham also involved. Evernham in the grass. He's not going to come back out on track. I don't think we're going to get a caution flag here. All these guys being able to gather him up and go green or back to the loud pedal. Let's take a 30-second rewind here and see what happened with Jamie Leach, Willie Evernham, Orlando Rivera. And I'm not sure who the other one was. It was Jay Steffi was also involved in that. Let's go back and see here. Oh, we're a little late to the party. It looks like somebody might have just come down there. It might have been the 54 of Rivera just coming off the top side. We'll throw her back here just a little bit farther for you and see if we can find a review. That was Jay Steffi that's coming off the top side. Might have just trying to jerk the wheel just a little bit. That's going to send Rivera, though, to the inside wall. He's going to be way off the pace now. Rivera looks like he is 22 seconds behind the leader now. He's going to go nose to tail with Willie Evernham. Those 2 drivers who were inside your top 5 now back all the way in your 21st and your 22nd position.
And this is where it really starts to get bad for some of these drivers. Like, for instance, the number 88. I'm sure he's flat-spotted all 4 of those tires, actually, trying to keep it out of trouble. He didn't hit anything, but now where he's taken off at, he's so far in the back right now, Jamie Leach is. I mean, now it's one of those deals where they're going to need a caution, or they possibly could get lapped.
That's right. Right now on timing and scoring, they're a half a lap behind this guy who's out front, and they're still too wide for the lead, even though that little skate through the grass kind of broke this big field up. Now we only have a 4-car breakaway. Hunter Conley still being pushed by the 117 of Timmy Smith. They're out front on the inside lane. On the outside lane, that's going to be the 09 of J.P. Brennan and the 77 of Kerry Chim. Right behind them, though, in your 5th position, that's going to be Chris Brown. Chris Brown is being pushed by the 31 of Donald Bennett. They got a 4-car little train there trying to make up ground. That's Chris Brown, Donald Bennett, Robert Duvendak, Doug Ungari. Then you got another little gap. And then that's going to have to go all the way back to the number 40 of Josiah Millen, who's on the outside being pushed by Jared Hagedorn. That's, your battle for your 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th position right there. So that involves Millen, Valenzuela the second, O'Berry, And I believe that's actually a lap down car that's with them. That's going to be the 22 of Andrew Davis, as Millen all sorts of out of shape on that outside, being pushed by the 2 of Jared Hagerdorn.
Now that second lead pack you're talking about being led by Chris Brown. You got Brown, Bennett, Duvendak, and Ungray right there. They are definitely going to catch this pack, and now we're going to make it a little bit interesting. And that's the cool thing about these street stocks. You can't run and hide like you used to be able to do in some of these other things. These things can't, like I said, they can't even get out of their own way without a little help from their friends. Well, they got help coming right now. As you can see, Chris Brown has got the 09 in his sights, and he is going to catch him.
That's right. If you actually look at the screen and you zoom in on that hot pink car of Chris Brown, I don't think there's a quarter panel really straight. Maybe the left rear is still straight on that one car. So that shows how much abuse these cars can take and still be able to draft and still carry momentum, as he's not off the pace at all. You know, he's right there in the draft. He's sucked up, and now he's going to dive to the outside, and he's going to jump right in front of the 77 to carry Chim and hope that the 77 can push that number 1. And actually, it looks like Donald Bennett, who's been pushing the 1 to the front, he's going to jump to the outside and go right along with Chris Brown.
These guys are going to tighten things up here eventually. They're going to get in 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. They're just trying to work their way up and try to feel each other out just a little bit. But the problem, way back there in the back, you got yourself another pack of cars back there. But you know what? These guys are going to have to get in line if they want any chance to be able to catch up and make some time.
Yeah, talking about that pack that's just barely hanging on back here. That's going to be the 38 Levitt, Bergner, O'Berry, Lent, and I believe that's Chris Legou right now. And Chris looks like he possibly could be, you know, losing the draft a little bit. So he's in danger of losing the draft altogether, as he's already 9 seconds behind the leader. He was probably one of those drivers that when he saw guys in front of him, you know, out of control going towards the inside, which was Jamie Leach, Willie Evernham, Orlando Rivera, and Jay Steffi, he probably backed out of her and just lost the draft at that point, and now he's just barely treading water.
Well, we're past the halfway point right now, Roger. 23 to go, as you can see right here up in this front pack. The 31 and the 00 right there of Doug Ungray, they actually touched each other, but they were able to gather it up.
Bobby, I'm looking at timing and scoring right now, and a lot of these leaders have been out there for 17 laps, so we're almost at their pit window. And if they can stretch it just a couple more laps, this might be the only pit stop they're going to have to make. So it's going to get exciting. We haven't seen green flag pit stops on a plate track, you know, such as Daytona or Talladega, as well. JP Brennan and Smith, they're getting real close together, running there for the second position. But we haven't seen green flag pit stops at a super speedway. We've seen them at, you know, Darlington. If you remember back to Darlington, we had 3 of your leaders come in, and they kind of did synchronized ballet dancing as they were trying to get on pit road. So we know these heavy stock cars aren't something that is real easy to get onto pit road. So we're going to have to pay attention and watch and see. Maybe a little bit of wheel hop's going to come down into effect here. It's going to come down to who can hit the green flag pit stop cleanly. That's what it's going to be all about. Is JP Brennan, is he going to come into this league as a rookie and walk all over these guys? There's a lot of R's as you see scrolling across the top of the boards, as Brennan still has not led a lap here. He's been close a couple times with Hunter Conley side by side at the line, just unable to put that 09 out front to lead a physical lap. So no bonus point for him. The only guys who have led laps here tonight, Conley's led 15, Duvendak's led 4, Bergner's led 4, Griffith has led 3, Ungari has led 2, and Valenzuela led 1 under caution. So JP not able to lead a lap, and he's going to go single file now to the, or sorry, he's not going to go single file. Who is that? That's Timmy Smith still sitting there single file. JP Brennan, though, is the only guy left on the outside there. So possibly green flag pit stops coming here momentarily.
Getting back to these pit stops right here, Roger, you got to remember just a couple of things. Number 1, they're fun to watch. Number 2, these puppies are heavy. They're hard to get slowed down.
Here they come right now.
You might get ran over.
Green flag pit stops happening here. It looks like a handful, 5 leaders, 6 of your leaders coming down pit road right now. Hunter Conley leading Smith, Brennan, Brown, and Bennett looks like all coming down pit road. I think, nope, sorry, that group's going to stay out there. Possible tire smoke there coming into pit road. Danny Valenzuela is going to get her woed down there. Thought possibly he was that driver that smoked the tires, so that's going to turn the lead over right now. I don't think anybody had a speeding penalty. Right now, though, the lead's going to go to the 00 of Doug Ungari being pushed by the number 12 of Robert Duvendak. So those two guys electing to stay out here, they are all by themselves. So I'm not sure if this is strategy between these two drivers. Bobby, you and I both know that they know each other out on track, and we know they have worked together before. Possibly some strategy here with the driver of the 12 and the 00.
Strategy, definitely, but they better make sure they got plenty of fuel in there, because here's what I like about this. These guys that just come in here to get fuel right now, they are filling them things all the way up to the rim. You know as well as I do, there's 19 laps to go. The opportunity, or I should say the chance of having another storm brewing and having another caution, well, let's just say I take that bet to Vegas every day.
Oh, we got somebody spinning towards the back. I think that's Michael Whitaker. Michael Whitaker is sideways. He's on track. Will it bring out a yellow? There is a yellow flag. Throw the monkey wrench into everything, because right now on timing and scoring, that's going to show everybody but I think 6 guys a lap down. So throw the monkey wrench in it. Let's throw the MaxSpeedTV replay up here and see what happened to Michael Whitaker as he went around in the tri-oval. Let's see if we can grab a chopper camera here for the 707 of Whitaker. See what happened is that we were just in between the middle of green flag pit stops. Coming through the tri-oval, there you see just it looks like the 141. That's going to be Greg O'Berry with just maybe a push in the wrong spot coming through the tri-oval, and Michael Whitaker tried to, not really bring out a yellow, and at first it didn't. And then there was one driver coming at him, and that's actually what ended up throwing the yellow flag here.
Yeah, see, we'll talk about throwing a monkey wrench into something. You literally threw a truck in front of, in the bridge to block the thing, because now all these cats are going to be about a lap down, but about 6 or so of them. And that, basically, you're going to get the lucky dog, or you're going to have to race your way back around and hope for another caution to get back up there again.
Well, now, Bobby, looking at timing and scoring as it has now updated, there are 6 cars on your lead lap. Ungari, Duvendak, Levitt, Bergner, Lent, O'Berry. Top 6 cars on the lead lap. Everybody else went a lap down. We were talking about that before we got to the green flag pit stops. If you had to make a green flag pit stop here, you could possibly go a lap down with how long it's going to take you. And a lot of those guys did. The guys who are on the lead lap are the only 6 guys who have not pitted, so you will see those guys come down pit road now. But, I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. We're talking about, these guys being a lap down. What's going to happen here is your top 6, they are going to come down and pit. They're going to get service. They're going to put 4 fresh tires, fill her up with fuel to go the rest of the way. They will be able to make it the rest of the way on fuel. Those guys who are a lap down will stay out here because they've already made their service. They've come down pit road. They will get a wave around because they will be in front of the leaders. They are going to have to hustle, though, because, Bobby, you and I know it takes a long time to get around this track. They're going to have to hustle when they get that wave around to get back to the field. So they actually might... I'm kind of running the scenarios through my mind right now. They might not be at such a disadvantage as we're thinking, because they're going to have the opportunity to go nose to tail. Follow me on this now. Nose to tail around the track under full throttle as everybody else is running 80 miles an hour behind the pace car. By the time the green flag drops, those guys are going to be coming with a head of steam if they can get back to the tail end of the field. And they could actually end up freight training these leaders.
Oh, yeah, it could definitely happen. But in order for that all to happen, well, all the planets are going to have to line up perfectly, Roger. And what I mean is all those cats that are going to go past that pace car to get that lap back, these guys are going to have to get up. They're going to have to get nose to tail, and they're going to have to draft their way all the way around. That way, when the green flag hits, they're going to be right there, no problems. But if they don't get it together and they don't hook up and get around there before the green flag flies, well, now you're talking about, a quarter to a half a track behind.
So this is all going to start with the driver of the 09 of J.P. Brennan. Brennan is going to be the first guy to be told. Actually, I'm sorry, it's going to be Jared Hagerdorn, because Hagerdorn is actually the first car 1 lap down. So actually, Hagerdorn's going to get this wave around. I'm lying. Timothy Smith was your wave around car. He has already got his wave around. Jared Hagerdorn's probably going to be told here to yield position. That's going to allow J.P. Brennan, as actually Jared Hagerdorn's going to make it easy on us here, Bobby. He's going to come down pit road with the guys that are a lap down. That's going to include Hagerdorn, Davis, Cummings, LaPrade, and Michael Whitaker. So all those guys are going to come down. So it's going to start here with JP like we were talking about. When they get the 1 to go, JP's going to have to be on the loud pedal. Chris Legou, who is right behind JP, is going to have to be also on the loud pedal with Jason Griffith, Josiah Milla, and Jamie Leach, Willie Evernham. They're all going to have to be you know, right away going. But, Bobby, now look at this. Think about this. About 15 laps ago, we had the 88 of Jamie Leach get turned around. Willie Evernham was involved. Jay Steffi was involved. And Orlando Rivera. Right now, all those guys are going to be recipients. Actually, Orlando's not. But everybody else is going to be a recipient of a waiver around here. So this caution actually kind of worked in their favor. It's going to benefit them. They're going to be able to get it on the lead lap and be back here in a draft.
Yeah, it helps some, definitely. But, you know, for instance, Chris Brown comes in. 5th place, he comes in. What time everything happened and everything goes on or whatnot, well, he ends up coming, where's he at right now on here? I mean, he's down the line just a little ways. He's all the way down, and I think, yeah, you know, it helps some guys, and some guys it definitely hurt. But the key is they got to get it back around here, and they got to get back up into double file, and they're just going to have to basically, like we like to say, they're going to have to stand on it because we're going to have 15 or 14 laps by the time this thing to green. And you know as well as I do, 14 laps, it's really hard to move and go anywhere in these street stocks. You need all the help you can get, all the luck in the world, because they just, like I said, they can't even get out of their own way without some kind of help. They are the herd of turtles, and they're a blast. That's what's fun about this league, and that's what's fun about these stock cars, man. You got to have help to get through here and try to win this race. You're not going to win this race just because you're a great driver. You're going to win this race because a guy behind you was able to push you and not turn you and work your way through the field.
Well, there we go. We got the one to go, I think. There it is. JP Brennan a little late back to the throttle as they were already halfway going into turn 1, and none of these guys are nose to tail.
And they got to get nose to tail. They've got to draft around here if they want to be at the start line right when the green flag drops.
Jamie Leach is really slow, and it looks like Chris Brown and Willie Evernham really want to get going. I'm not sure if Jamie Leach might have missed the shift there once he got the wave around. So we're going to keep an eye on these guys. We're going to keep it focused right here and see where they're going to end up, as JP Brennan is going to be the first one. I'm really shocked, Bobby, to see that they are not working together at all.
No, they're not. And this right here is just a scenario right of our favorite movie, Days of Thunder. Remember, you got to hammer down. You've got to be at full speed right when that green flag drops. These guys know they've got to get up there and get nose to tail. They've got to draft around here, and they can be at the right spot right when that green flag drops. If not, well, all hope's gone for these guys. There's no way they're going to be able to do anything. But then again, up front, Cody Levitt leading this thing. Jeff Bergner sitting up there in second. Robin Duberdack sitting in third. Doug Ungree in fourth. And fifth, Tony Lent. I mean, those guys right there are thinking, well, hey, that's fine because I got half the field. I ain't got to worry about trying to come up here and knock me out.
Bobby, I'm watching the track map here, and those lap down cars, because they did not hustle right away, they are not going to get back to the field here. They are going to be a half a corner behind, and none of them are nose to tail, really, so they're not going to have any sorts of momentum as the pace car is about to duck in here. We're going to go green flag racing with only a handful of guys caught up to the field. So this is going to be interesting. Green flag is waving once again here from Daytona. Cody Levitt, your leader, he's going to get one heck of a push from the start there by Robert Duvendak. Those lap down cars, though, now finally out of turn 4, but we're halfway over to turn 1. So it's going to be interesting to see here. Now there's only 6 guys here towards the front. Sorry, 7 guys, Greg O'Berry being the 7th place guy, that they're going to have to worry about. So 7 guys are going to battle it out here unless another caution comes out late in the race here that's going to line them up to give them another shot. It's now down to 7 guys. Those wave around guys not going to be in the contention here for the win at Daytona.
I'll tell you right now, Robert Duvendak, when he's coming into those turns and those curves right now, depending on what his tire wear is, he's got to keep that thing down on that inside yellow line because he's peaking up about halfway to the track. And that 023 of Troy Lent, he's just about ready to stick his nose up underneath him and make it 3 wide here if he's not careful.
And you and I both know Troy Lent, a hard-nosed racer himself. If there's an inch, he's going to take the mile. As you see Robert Duvendak really waving there. That bright blue car there to the inside, the Aqua Team paint scheme. He was all sorts of waving, and Bobby, we know these street stocks like to be driven sideways as much as they do going straight. The question is, though, can the 4 cars in the outside lane draft themselves around the 3-car train on the inside?
You know as well as I do, if you're going to want to do anything with that inside line, these outside guys, you're going to have to door them. You're going to have to draft off the side draft. I call it dooring because you're putting here about an inch away. You could give the guy your water bottle if he was thirsty. That's what the outside guys are going to have to do if they want to get any kind of a momentum to try to get around this inside group.
13 laps to go on the board, 12 laps to go once we get back here to the flag stand. Robert Duvendak trying to push that inside lane. Cody Levitt there being the control car to the inside lane. Jeff Bergner right now is on the outside being pushed by the 117 of Troy Smith. Who is going to be the victor here tonight? We're going to find out in just 12 laps from Daytona. Is there 3 wide towards the back? It looks like Jared Hagerdorn. Oh, I'm not sure who that was. Donald Bennett and Jared Hagerdorn are around. I saw it. It was 3 wide racing. Bennett bounced himself off the outside wall trying to stay away from Hagerdorn, and that's going to bring out a late race caution. Those guys who were not caught up to the field going to be the recipients, the benefactors here. Let's go back and take another MaxSpeedTV replay and see what exactly happened between the driver of the number 2 and the driver of the 31 machine.
Man, I got to tell you, Roger, you know me, I speak my mind, and I'm going to speak it right now. What in the world are they thinking? They're back there in the 20th, 21st, 22nd position. They're trying to go 3 wide. They need to be nose to tail to try to maneuver their way up into that.
Yeah, 2 drivers that aren't even on the same lap, bringing out a late race yellow here. As you see it right there. It looked like Bennett was maybe a little bit of netcode also involved there. Bobby, we know how netcode can ruin a lot of people's races, and that one might have had a little bit of netcode involved. Let's see, maybe we can go back just a little bit here and bring another angle to you. Let's see if we can go from the spotter cam and see exactly, did Bennett come down in the 31 or did Hagerdorn? Bobby, I'm going to have to call netcode. I mean, it's a rough one to call, and it's definitely a rough one if you were Cody Levitt, Jeff Bergner, Robert Duvendak, or Troy Smith, because you pretty much wanted to see this go green the rest of the way. You didn't want those guys who just got back on the lead lap being able to come back and be right on nose to tail again.
No, you do not. But the good thing is, probably by the time this thing gets back into the green flag racing, I'm going to probably say we're going to have about 9 laps, maybe 8 laps to go that's on the green. But here's your scenario. You're kind of a scenario kind of guy. Now, you listen to this. You've got Cody Levitt. You've got Jeff Bergner. You also got one of Cody Levitt's, I wouldn't call him a partner by no means, but they race together day in, day out, every day, and that's Robert Duvendak. You've got the new guy there. You got a Timothy Smith involved. You got a Greg O'Berry involved. And you got the hard pusher of Troy Lent and Doug Ungari. I mean, this is setting up to where, hey, buddy, I race with you in other leagues. Hook up with me and let's go. And if you watch, you're going to look and you're going to see Cody Levitt and you're going to see Robert Duvendak. You're going to see these 2 guys hook up and they're not going to leave each other behind. You watch.
Well, you're talking about a couple guys that know each other from different leagues that have run together. Let's talk to a guy who only runs this league here that we know of, and looking at timing and scoring, doesn't really have any true teammates or partners in the vicinity of himself. Jeff Bergner, it's Roger and Bobby up in the booth. You got a copy with us.
Loud and clear. How you guys doing tonight?
Well, I think we're doing a little bit better up here in the booth than possibly yourself. Tell us what's going to transpire here going towards the end of these laps as they are winding down here from Daytona. We know the 38 is going to go with the 12 already. That's pretty much a given. Do you have any help towards the front of this field that's going to help you out?
Oh, the Timothy Smith there seems to be getting up there and pushing. You can hold your own out there by yourself, but it'd definitely be nice with some help.
Yeah, as we saw, you guys were nose to tail there. Has there been any communication between the Bergner camp and the Smith camp out there on track saying, hey, if you go with me, you know, I'll go with you next time, or any communication between the 2 teams?
Negative. Yeah, I'm just kind of sit here and just race my race. Yeah, no real communication as of yet.
Well, the one thing I know, Roger, I will have to say right now with Mr. Bergner right there, if he gets a good jump, that's what's always also important too. If he can get a good jump on this restart, he might be the spoiler alert right here because he's the only one that could actually split up the Cody Levitt, Robert Duvendak kind of team thing going.
Well, Jeff, we're going to let you get back down there to your team. Good luck the rest of the way. Maybe we'll get to talk to you in that number 21, the Salt Flat County Jail Machine, at the end of this one. Try and bring her home in one piece.
Oh, that's the plan. Yeah, anything's going to get a little crazy here. I'm sure we haven't seen the end of the 3 wide yet.
Well, there you heard it from the driver of the 21. No real teammates up there with him, hoping that possibly Timmy Smith's going to go with him, because those two will start nose to tail on the outside, and you heard it from himself. I mean, you could hear it. He doesn't think the 3 wide racing is over, and maybe the yellow flags aren't done either waving, because we know how these races kind of happen towards the end of it.
Absolutely, but like I said, they still got the caution lights on the pace car, and we're coming up on 8 to go, so you know for a fact that probably we're not going to see a green flag till like lap 6 with 6 left. 6 left to go. What's that mean, Roger, if we happen to get one more caution and somebody's leading that race with 6 to go?
Anytime here on iRacing, if a yellow flag is thrown with inside 5 laps to go, there will be no restart. iRacing has not yet implemented that green-white checkered, so unfortunately we will end under yellow conditions if we get to 5 laps and a yellow is flown. Don't worry, Bobby, though. I believe those green-white checkers may be coming in your near future, so watch out on the iRacing pages in the forums for that possibly to pop up in one of these updates coming there. They've been working on it. You never know when it's going to come, but you know what's going to come. The checkered flag sooner or later tonight will be waving here from Daytona International, the opener for the Salt Flat IROC series. So far, Bobby, we've had a great one. We've seen 3 wide racing. We've seen a huge crash, if you will. I mean, you kind of always see a big one here at Daytona, and we saw one. Let's see if we can check out how many cautions and what we've had here tonight. We've had 12 lead changes here tonight. We got 8 laps to go this time at the line as we're going to see the lights on the pace car go off, so will go green flag racing next time by. We've had a number of cautions here. Sorry, tonight has been 4 cautions, which is actually pretty impressive. Only 11 laps ran under caution, so 90% of this race, Bobby, so far has been run under the green flag conditions.
4 cautions with these street stock to these little tiny tires, as heavy as they are. I think these guys are doing a fabulous job out here on this track. Like I said, we're going to probably get going here. You got the pace lights off, I believe, so you're looking at about 7 to go right here. There's one thing I can tell you, Roger. This is about to get really, really nasty. There is no friends out here. They'll push their way to get through to help themselves. This is going to get real nasty. Don't go away on this one, guys, if you're out there watching this thing on YouTube, because this is going to be exciting.
This is going to come down to who has the better pusher, who's going to be out front at the end of the 16 cars on the lead lap. That gives 16 individuals here at Daytona, because we know how Daytona can get. 16 individuals have a chance here tonight to take home the victory. Is it going to be your leader, the 3811, there in the deeper, darker dude? Do it for Dale, number 38. Is it going to be the Salt Flat County Jail, the 21 machine to the outside? Is it going to be the Aquaholics there, the number 12 of Robert Duvendak? Or is Timmy Smith going to come in here and rain on the party and take it home for the gray machine cars, the rookies? It's going to get exciting, and we're about to find out as the pace car is working off of turn number 4. I'll throw a monkey wrench before the pace car turns off. Is it going to be the Salt Flat West driver, Danny Valenzuela, running in the 16th place? We're about to find out as the pace car is off. We are green flag racing once again from Daytona Raceway.
And here we go. The 21 right now. Bergner's got the chance. He needs to duck in on the inside. And
yellow. Yellow flag is waving. The 88 of Jamie Leach is turned around. 7 laps to go. Bobby, if the pace car comes out right now, and I just saw it come out, we will go back green flag racing yet again here. We're going to have to go back here on another MaxSpeedTV replay. Hunter Conley also involved in the 7 machine, so a couple guys running towards the mid-pack involved. Jay Steffi also involved, I believe. We're going to have to take this replay, see exactly what happened, because we were not watching towards the back of the field here. So let's zoom out just a little bit and watch what happened and transpired between these drivers. There's the 7 of Hunter Conley. Oh, it looks like Jay Steffi just missed the shift. Hunter Conley gave him a bump. Jamie Leach just nowhere to go. That's going to take Michael Whitaker, and it looks like a handful of other drivers. Timmy Valenzuela also involved. Jay Steffi inside the inside wall. He's most likely going to have to take a tow. And once again, Orlando Rivera nowhere to go, going along for the ride. That 54 machine smoking out there. Bunch of engine damage done to the 54. So another late race caution. Bobby, get Warner Brothers on the hook here. We're going to make a movie. Days of Thunder Part 2 coming to you here with the Salt Flat Racing, the IROC Series, the season opener. Just stamp it in the book, give it to us, because you know it's going to be a good one. It was about to be tuned up right there to be a good one, and now we're going to go back racing one last time here. Bobby, I was speechless on the green flag because I was shocked that Cody Levitt got such a big jump on the field there away from Robert Duvendak. I'm surprised he didn't have the hand out the window telling him, let's go, we got to get away from these guys as we can, try and make them catch us. And there was a huge gap, probably about a car and a half, 2-car gap there that Bergner could have filled.
You know what? He got a huge gap right there. When we were interviewing Bergner, that's exactly what he needed to do. He needed to be up there, see that gap. He needed to get in there and take that second place position away. That would have broke everything up and set him up perfectly for possibly a slingshot move or whatever. You're going to have to split Cody Levitt and Robert Duvendak, and if you don't split them, I'll guarantee you you're not going to beat them.
Well, Bobby, as we pace around here yet again, looking through timing and scoring, Cody Levitt gonna retain the lead here as they catch up to the pace car finally. Jeff Bergner is in second, Robert Duvendak third, Timmy Smith fourth. Troy Lent now finds himself for the first time inside the top 5, sitting there in the 5th position. Greg O'Berry is in your 6th position. Doug Ungari is 7th. Chris Brown is in your 8th position. Jason Griffith now in 9th, and JP Brennan rounds out your top 10. Christopher Legou is right now running in the 11th position. Josiah Millen back here running 12th. Willie Evernham 13th. Danny Valenzuela 14th. And Jamie Leach will be 15th, the last car on the lead lap. But I believe the 31 of Donald Bennett's going to be the wave around car, so that will put him back on the lead lap. So put once again 16 cars on the lead lap once we go back green flag racing.
How many times, Roger, last year in this league did we actually get fortunate enough to see a green flag checkered?
Well, Bobby, if you can remember all the way back to, I believe it was Auto Club Speedway, we came down to green flag pit stops to end it, and we saw one heck of a battle end up brewing between teammates until that pit stop, and that kind of broke those two apart. But there was I forget who it was now at this point. It was Griffin, who is not in attendance here tonight, but he had run down Cole Day and Craig Swartz. Those two had taken early pit stops and didn't get enough fuel in the car and ended up coming down to Griffin running right around Cole Day coming out of turns 4, and at the start-finish line went side by side with Craig Swartz at a distance of, well, version of almost said it again, Bobby. The distance between the top two there at the finish line was actually .003. It was one of the closest finishes we have ever seen here for the Salt Flat boys, and we might see something like that here tonight again.
Exactly, we might see that here tonight. And us older guys, we refer that as a tad.
Just a tad?
Just a tad.
All right, just a tad. Well, Bobby, we still are working here. The lights on the pace car, are they on? Are they off?
They're still on.
Lights on the pace car are on, so let's see if we can grab another one of these drivers out there tonight. Let's see if we can get a word in with the driver of the number 12, Robert Duvendak, who is running right now in your 3rd position. Robert Duvendak, you got a copy. It's Roger and Bobby up here in the booth.
What's going on, gentlemen? Yes, I do.
How you doing tonight, Robert?
We'll see here in about 4 more laps. I'll let you know how I'm doing.
Hey, Robert, I got a question for you, buddy. You and Mr. Cody Levitt, you guys are pretty good friends. I know we all run a lot of leagues together or whatever. I mean, you're going to have to probably stick your nose right to his bumper so you don't give any little bit of an opening. You're going to have to give a great restart run on here in order to even set yourself up for probably what we're looking at. It's probably going to be about a 2-lap shootout. You feeling pretty confident?
Yeah, we're working together here, like you said, so we're able to communicate on when to go, so it's working to our advantage there. But we just got the 2 to go here, which means we'll actually have a 1-lap shootout. So I'm going to do my best to push them here in the restart, try to get clear of that outside lane, and if we can, then every man for himself at that point.
Well, I'll tell you what, I know you've literally been drooling. I've heard you talking so much. I've been so close, so close, so close. and I haven't had my chance to win one of these dadgum things. Well, you know what, pal? You're kind of sitting almost in the driver's seat right now, setting in that second place position if you can stay tucked up underneath of Cody Levitt, which I do believe you're going to do. So look, we're going to be watching. Good luck. Get through those shifts and get through them very smoothly, my friend.
Thank you, guys. I'll be happy just to finish this bad boy.
Well, there you go, Roger.
You heard it from himself. He's going to be right up underneath the 38-11, just kind of pushing his way through, hoping that they can work their way past the outside lane. While we're still sitting here, I think I see somebody out there in a room that we also can get a word in with yet. The driver of the 023, Troy Lent, got a copy.
I got you.
Well, Troy, it's coming down to the nitty-gritty, and you find yourself up here inside the top 5 for the first time tonight. What is your plan? It's going to be a one-lap shootout to finish this one.
I think it's going to get crazy.
Well, tell us how crazy it's been already out there on track.
It's been pretty crazy. These guys have been racing pretty hard from lap 1. Got kind of tangled up in that first little melee. Got me kind of marred back all the way back in, 25th. Through the middle there, I was kind of just hoping for a top 15, but I'm not going to be happy if I ain't in Friday.
Well, Troy, there's one thing that we know up here. We know you don't take this lying down. You are an aggressive driver, and if you see a spot or a hole, you're going to try to take it. So we're kind of hoping that that's exactly what we're going to see tonight here in this one-lapper. We're going to watch you hopefully give it all you've got and make it a little excitement.
If there's a hole, I'm going to stick it there.
Absolutely you will. Well, good luck, my friend.
All right, thanks.
Well, there you heard it from the driver of the 023. Troy Lent finds himself the 3rd car to the inside lane. It's a purple car, but he's no teammate to the guy who's out front. So what's he going to do here when we go back green flag racing for the last time? Flat out, I mean, let me clear it up for a couple guys. He's going to send it. He's just going to send it.
He's going to send it. He's got to send it, and he's got to stick it, and he's got to slam it, beat it, bang it. He's going to do it all, Roger.
Well, working down the backstretch here. Let's go through your order real quick. Levitt out front, Bergner to the outside. Then it's going to be Duvendak to the inside, Smith to the outside, Lent to the inside again. There in your 5th position. Then it's going to be O'Berry in 6th. Then it's going to be Jason Griffith. Then it's going to be Doug Ungari, Chris Brown, and J.P. Brennan rounds out your top 10. Hey, you can go through the field here and say it's anybody's race. Once we go back green flag racing, that is it. First man back to the start-finish line, gonna be the winner here for the first race of the IROC series, the Salt Flat IROC series. Who will be the winner? The pace car is off. We're about to find out. The green flag is waving. This time, the driver of the 12 is right on the bumper there of Cody Levitt. He gave him one heck of a shot, but they kind of got separated. Then Jeff Bergner got a shot from Timmy Smith coming across the line. Now that's going to put Levitt and Bergner side by side as they go down into turn number 1 for the last time.
Coming around on the outside right there, you can see right now Bergner has got the momentum. He is staying right with Cody Levitt all by himself. But, oh, they got a little loose right there. Looks like Robert Duvendak kind of pushed a little bit too hard. They got 3 wide, bouncing off the walls. Now they're 4 wide, Roger.
4 wide racing down the backstretch. Who's going to be able to come out victorious? 4 wide. Here comes it. Looks like that's Timmy Smith to the inside, beating and banging behind him. They're crashing behind the leaders. Leaders are crashing. Who's going to get back to the start-finish line first? Timmy Smith out front. Robert Duvendak is in 2nd. Doug Ungari right now 3rd. The battle is on. Who will have the momentum? Right now, Timmy Smith to the inside, blocking Robert Duvendak as far as he can. Door slamming for the 3rd position. It looks like Timmy Smith's going to win here from Daytona. Robert Duvendak's going to come home 2nd place. Doug Ungari is going to be turned around, but he's going to finish inside the top 3. What a finish. I'm not even sure what went on there. We saw your leader. Your leader is way down the charts. Looks like your leader's not even going to finish under his own power. Jamie Leach is coming from the 17th spot. He's going to finish inside your top 10. Troy Lett's going to finish 5th. The order is just absolutely crazy. Let's just go back and see if we can find a replay here to go back on that last lap. It's Bobby, I'm just mind blown what we just saw here. That's what you expect for the street stock guys, the IROC series out here.
That's exactly what you expect. I mean, we knew it was going to be tight. We knew it was going to be close. I could not believe how much of a run that the 21 had up there on the 38. I mean, he was holding his own all by himself. I'm sitting here watching this replay right now, and Robert Duvendak kind of hit Cody and got him kind of squirrely a little bit. And that's kind of when this mayhem kind of started, and now they all get up into 4 wide.
This all transpired towards the front of the field with Robert Duvendak pushing the number 38, and it looked like the 21 of Bergner just trying to hang on for his life there. He was left on an island all by himself. Right there, Robert Duvendak, you saw, gave a shot to the 38 right in the middle of the corner. That hit put the 38 of Levitt right into the side of Bergner, as then they went actually 5 wide down the backstretch, Bobby. We missed the 5 wide action down the backstretch. And Doug Ungari was getting one heck of a push there. And then they kind of all just pinballed off each other going into turn 3. Levitt was down to the apron, tried to come back up, didn't just have the momentum, not being able to, or not momentum, but not enough grip in the tires. And then you see the chase is on off turn 4 there. Robert Duvendak just not enough time, not enough momentum to get to Timmy Smith. Timmy Smith going to walk away with the win here. And then you see Ungari and Brennan door to door there coming across the checker flag. Ungari going up and over, but he got the position. Doug Ungari going to finish 3rd. So it's Smith, Duvendak, Ungari finishing in your top 3. Brennan and Lent coming home 4th and 5th. So what a race we just had here from Daytona.
You know, Smith got himself a pretty doggone good run when he was taking off. He was originally on the outside up there, and he was trying to catch up with the 21 to help him out, but he realized he couldn't. So he sits down in the 4th place down there, and he sees these cats bouncing all over each other, going crazy. And so what does he decide to do? You know what? Forget it. I'm going to go underneath the yellow line. I got some momentum going, and he drove right by the whole 4 guys in a row.
Well, Bobby, it's that time. We're going to have to step away for just a moment. We're going to wrangle up your top 3 here and get some post-race interviews from Daytona. You just watched 50 laps of beating and banging here from the Daytona International Speedway. That was the Salt Flat Racing League's, the IROC Series here, the season opener for the IROC Series. And, Bobby, it lived up to its name, but we're going to step away for just a moment. We're going to get to these guys, and we're going to bring them here live to you on MaxSpeedTV. You don't want to go away. You don't want to miss these interviews from these 3. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You just watched 50 laps from the Daytona International Speedway. It was the first inaugural race here for the Salt Flat Racing, the IROC Series, presented here by MaxSpeedTV. We are now about to get ready for your post-race show. Your post-race show here for the Salt Flat League is brought to you by Team McCullen, your premier VA lender for loans. Not only VA loans, but anybody looking to buy a house out in the Midwest, look up Team McMullen. Well, Bobby, now it's that time that we get here to your 3rd place finisher. Your 3rd place finisher coming home in 3rd, going to be the number, or, well, I guess if you want to call it a number, going to be the driver of the 00, Doug Ungari. Doug Ungari, tell us what transpired on that last lap and how you came home in that position.
I got no idea. I mean, that last restart, I was 7th, and all of a sudden I look up and that going down the back straight, we got guys 4 or 5 wide, and I was just holding on, and I don't know how I missed Cody 3 or 4 times. He almost saved it, but that was a heck of a finish.
Yeah, a heck of a finish it was. We saw guys 5 wide in front of you, and then all of a sudden saw cars flying everywhere. And we saw it live there. You trying to give Cody Levitt enough room for himself to save that 38 machine. Unfortunately, he didn't save it. It ended up going from the lead all the way to finishing in your 15th spot. But tell us about this race. I mean, it looked like it was wild from the drop of the green until lap 50 coming across the checkered flag.
Oh, yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. This is my first time driving these cars on a super speedway, and not much give and take. I mean, you touch a guy a little bit in the back trying to bump draft, and you send them all squirrely. It was a lot of fun, though. Definitely a learning curve.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like one heck of a blast out there to drive. I know Bobby and myself, we've turned practice laps with this league because it's one of those leagues. It's not like an Xfinity car where you kind of expect that you kind of know what the car is going to do. You come out here, you said it yourself. It's a handful. I mean, is there anything like it in your mind that you can kind of relate to driving street stocks on a plate track, especially Daytona or Talladega?
No, I can say the closest thing I could relate it to is probably driving a go-kart on ice. It was pretty crazy. You bump one guy one time and it'd be fine. The next time you didn't really know what you're going to get yourself into trying to bump draft here.
We saw at the end of that a bump draft may possibly have gone wrong between your leaders, which transpired that whole chain reaction. But Doug, a great finish. This is actually the first time I believe Bobby and myself have had you in the MaxSpeedTV booth here at the end of a race, and you're probably as shocked as I am because I can already tell in your driver photo that's here on screen for everybody to look at. I mean, you look pretty shocked, pretty stoked.
Yeah, definitely, and I can't lie, I'm sweating bullets right now. I got wet marks under my arms right now. It was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun Daytona was, but I'm looking over here at your schedule for upcoming events for the Salt Flat IROC Series. We just finished week 1 here at Daytona. Next week, we're headed to Las Vegas. Then the week after that at Charlotte, Irwindale, and then week 5, we're going to throw another monkey wrench in here. I mean, why not? We're running super speedways. We might as well throw the dirt track at Charlotte yet in here. Which one out of your next 4 weeks are you looking forward to running the most?
Well, you know, I'm a dirt guy myself, so I can't wait for Charlotte. Should be fun. I'm sure Tim Smith would be saying the same thing. Should be interesting with him in here and see what he could do with these things with no wing on top on dirt.
Well, it's definitely a different creature. It's a lot heavier, a lot slower. You kind of got to think about the moves that you're going to have to make. But, Doug, we'll be watching out for you in the next couple of weeks, especially we're going to mark it down on the calendar in 4 weeks' time from now. The Charlotte dirt track is what you're looking for. So, but hey, we're going to give you your moment of fame here. We're going to hand you the mic. We're going to tell you who helps out on that 00 car and who gets you to the track every week.
I just want to thank you guys and all the admins at SFR and put this thing on and sponsor Little V Books. It's a good show and look forward to the rest of the season.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations, Doug, on your 3rd place finish once again. But I believe, Bobby, you have caught up with the guy who was running up there at the front when all that mayhem broke loose.
Oh, yeah. Slap some butter on me and call me Paula Dean, Robert. Dadgummit, son. A bridesmaid and not a bride again.
Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, I thought I was gonna push Cody past the I can't remember who was on the outside there at the end, but I gave Cody a little bump there, got him sideways a little bit, and we were able to save it. And then, I mean, how many 5 wide passes for the lead have you seen before?
You know what? This is the first one that I've seen, but it doesn't surprise me with these guys and the way you guys run. You had no choice. You got to do what you got to do. I'm sure if you had it to do all over again, you probably would have bumped him in a turn and done the exact same thing that you did there. You had just a little bit of a straightaway to go. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. It just sickens me, son. I mean, you got it all the way up there in the second. You were setting pretty, and you know, and then you just come up just a little bit short.
Yeah, if I could go back and do it over again, I would have thrown a block down there under the yellow line. I thought there was a yellow line rule that you couldn't pass below it. I guess not. I just didn't have to let him up if I didn't want to, but he had such a run anyway. There was no way I wasn't going to be able to let him up. He got clear of us anyway.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about it. You guys had gotten 4 wide right there for a while, and the 21 of Bergner actually bounced off the wall, and it kind of bottled you up a little bit, and your winner right there, Timothy Smith, man, he was not a herd of turtles by no means coming down on that below that double yellow line and passing you guys. He was coming with a vengeance. You had no choice. He was gone. He had to. But hey, look, you know, you came in second place. Hold your head up high right there, man. This is the first race of a 14-week season, dude. You pulled off a second place finish. You can't complain about that.
Oh heck no, my first race in this league. So. If I could have gotten one position better, I'd say it was a complete success. But coming out top 3, first race in a new league, can't complain about that.
No, you can't complain about it at all. And I thought you'd done a really good job. You know, it's a shame you came up just a little short. But you know what? If it was easy, everybody'd be doing it. Am I right?
Oh, you got that right. I got 13 more shots left to get up in that W column.
Yes, you do. Hey, got anybody out there that you'd like to thank that helped you get here? Any particular broadcaster that, you know, you might pretty much been expired by or anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. I've missed that gorgeous voice of yours. I haven't got to hear you for a long time. So it's good to have you back. And thank you and Roger both for taking the time out of your nights to broadcast this race for us. And as always, I got to thank this beautiful woman sitting over here on the couch who's holding what we just found out is my first baby boy that's going to be on his way in June.
Congratulations on the boy. All right, I'm glad to hear that. Make sure you give your lovely wife a kiss for me. I miss her. Only got to see her one time, Roger and I did. And, well, let's just say that was a night we want to kind of forget, if you know what I mean.
And I'll give her a little tongue for you tonight.
Oh, thank you. All righty. Hey, congratulations again. Take it easy, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you, guys. You have a great night.
Roger, I've got a fan.
Well, Bobby, you may have a fan, but I got a man who put it in victory lane. He's going to take the claim to fame tonight. Let's see if we can get a hold of your winner here tonight. So we're going to hop down here to Team McMullen victory lane. Timmy Smith, do you have us?
Yeah, how you doing, man?
Well, we're doing good, but I'm pretty sure you're probably out here doing a lot better than us. Timmy, you and I had talked before the season here with the Salt Flat guys, and you're not an asphalt racer at all.
No, this is the first asphalt league I ever raced. I got on iRacing like 2 years ago when dirt came out, and I've stuck with that for the whole time, just kind of broadening my horizons a little bit, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with yourself on the dirt side yet, too. But what really drew you over here to run a street stock on larger tracks?
Oh, I'm not really sure, to be totally honest with you. There wasn't a whole lot going on the dirt side for Wednesdays besides some wingless car leagues, and I'm really not much of a fan of those. So I talked it over with my teammates, and I told them I found an asphalt league I wanted to run on Wednesdays, and they gave me their blessing. So here I am.
And here you are in victory lane. I mean, so aside of all the off-season stuff, here we are at Daytona, and you had yourself a good qualifying attempt starting towards the front of this field. And at the end of this one, you found yourself to the front by a 5-wide pass going down the backstretch into turn 3 on the white flag lap. I mean, walk us through that last restart there. Did you think you had a shot?
No, I got a terrible start, actually. I think it honestly would help me. I was trying to, push, I think there was a 21 car in front of me. I was trying to stay tight up on him, and I got so excited, I didn't miss my shift. I just forgot the shift. I looked down, and everybody was gone, and I was still in third gear. But it kind of helped me, I think, because they got all stretched out, and I was able to get a big run when they all got wild off of 2 there. And I had a huge run coming down the backstretch. I wasn't sure if that was going to work. I thought I was going to have to let off going into 3. I wasn't sure if I was going to clear him. But I had such a big run, I had to try it,
Yeah, you absolutely cleared him. I mean, it was pretty much like a shot out of a gun. You were a bullet coming down the backstretch. You went to the inside, and at any moment, did you actually think that you weren't going to make it?
Yeah, actually, I don't know how. There was a brief moment there where I thought, man, this might end really bad. I better lift. But I kept watching the mirror, and I soon as I heard clear, I kind of jerked right, and I don't know how close it was, but I know it was really close.
Well, you came off turn 4, and then it was only 2 of you to the finish. It was yourself and the 117 machine, and right behind you, a aqua-colored number 12. Did you think maybe he was going to have you? Because, I mean, anybody that's a race fan, you've seen so many races at Daytona or Talladega coming off turn 4. The guy who's in second just pretty much throws, a fake to the outside and dives it to the inside. Do you think the 12 was going to have the momentum or a run coming at you?
Yeah, I was definitely watching my mirror for that. I kind of, I don't know if I faked him out or not. I went high coming out of the turn and then dove back low right at the last second, and hopefully broke the draft enough to where he wouldn't get me. But yeah, I was definitely watching behind me.
Well, Timmy, I'm going to say it once again. Congratulations on being the first winner here, taking home the first Team McMullen Victory Lane trophy, if you will. No trophy really for you, but we're going to put a W in the win column for you at least. I mean, you're going to head into Las Vegas as your winner. How do you feel going forward? I know you heard us talk to Doug Ungari about week 5 is the first time we're going to throw these street stocks onto the dirt. How do you feel about heading to Charlotte Dirt Track?
Oh, definitely looking forward to that one. That's right in my wheelhouse. Spent a lot of time running street stocks and dirt sprint cars pretty much on here. So hopefully I'll have a pretty good showing for that.
Well, what I pretty much just understood there is we're going to have to give the 117 of Timmy Smith here a weight penalty once we get to the Charlotte Dirt Track. And, well, week 11 we actually head over to the Eldora Speedway. So there's going to be 2 showings that we're going to have to keep an eye out on you, Timmy. But, hey, is there anybody out there that helps that 117 make it out here to the track? We know we just heard you talk about, the team, and you had talked to them to come over here and get permission. I mean, who helps you out here on iRacing?
Definitely wickedcushion.com and Wicked Energy Gum. They sponsor everything on my dirt side. All my teammates at Casey Kane Racing for letting me come do this on a Wednesday. And everybody at Max Speed and Salt Flats for putting the whole deal on. I really appreciate it.
Well, Timmy, it's our pleasure. And once again, for a dirt guy, congratulations for nabbing your first win here with the Salt Flat IROC Series. Your walk out of Daytona here, holding your head high, chest out, headed towards Las Vegas. Hopefully we'll see you next week and have a good showing again out in the desert.
Yeah, I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Appreciate it.
Well, Bobby, there you heard it from Timmy. He's a dirt guy out here running street stocks on the larger tracks and walking away as your first winner here at Daytona. I mean, what else do you say?
Well, you know what? As a competitor out there, I'd be highly ticked off. We got a dirt guy coming in on our asphalt and basically beating us. But as a broadcaster, I like it.
Absolutely. Well, Bobby, it's that time. Let's see if we can work through our unofficial results here from Daytona. We say unofficial, but we know who's the winner. We know who came in second and third. That was Timothy Smith coming home as your victor here from Daytona. Robert Duvendak, you heard from him, also coming in second place. Doug Ongari is going to bring that 0-0 home in your third position. Fourth position going to go to another rookie out there, J.P. Brennan, walking away with a fourth place finish. Troy Lenton, who said he was just going to send it in there for a moment. They were 5 wide. It looked like everybody heard him, and they were going to send it right along. Fifth place for Lent. Willie Evernham in the 91 going to come home in your sixth position. Danny Valenzuela in the 04 coming home in seventh. Greg O'Berry in the 141 walking away with an 8th place finish. And Jamie Leach really rebounding tonight after getting caught in that green flag scuffle there coming out of the trial where the yellow flag did not wave and 4 cars slid through the grass. 9th place for Jamie Leach. Donald Bennett, we saw him wrapped up in another, or not another wreck, but a different wreck, if will. And he's going to bring that orange hair, number 31, into a top 10 finish.
Josiah Millen there in the number 40 coming in at 11th place, and I'm sure he's probably passed out because I said his name correctly. 12th place came up. 21, Jeff Berger. He ran second place up there for quite a while and got shuffled up, got tagged a little bit, hit the wall, but ended up bringing that thing home in 12th place. 38, Cody Levette, another one up there. He was leading the race for a while. He ended up coming down into 13th place after it was all said and done. Your 14th position was the 985 of Jason Griffith. 15th, number 1, Chris Brown. He really wasn't that much of a contender like I thought he would have been during this race, but he also kept getting caught up in these accidents too, which we all know hurts. 16th position was the 71 of Chris Legou. 17th position, the number 7 of Hunter Conley. 18th, 77 of Kerry Chim. 19th was the number 5 of Tim Valenzuela. Apparently that is the better-looking one of the Valenzuela boys. And in the 20th position was the 247 of Mr. Jay Stiffy.
Coming home in your 21st position, that's going to be the number 2 of Jared Hagerdorn. Coming home in your 21st position after a couple rides through the grass and found the outside wall at a couple times there coming through the tri-oval, the 707 of Michael Whitaker. The 22 of Andrew Davis. Really quiet tonight out of Andrew Davis. He's going to come home in your 23rd position. 24th is going to go to the 54 of Orlando Rivera. In your 25th position, Rudy Cummins driving the 03 machine is going to come home 25th. The 26th position is going to go to the 140 of Dwayne LaPrade. 27th position is going to go to the 62 of Colin Farrow. The 28th position is going to go to the 120 of William Crossland, having a little bit of connection issues out there tonight, and I believe the 24 of Little Jeff Pogo going to come home 29th. And rounding out your field here tonight, going to be the 107 of Herman Reynolds. So, Bobby, all in all, leaving Daytona here, there was your rundown. But leaving Daytona here, we saw one heck of a race. I mean, from the time you said go, they went.
Absolutely, they went, and that's what I love about this league. These guys, they run like every lap is the last lap of their life, and I'm telling you, it is a blast. These guys are awesome, and man, Roger, this is only the first race. We got 13 more nights of this stuff.
13 more nights. You can catch them all here on the MaxSpeedTV YouTube, also broadcasted over on the iRacing.com page. You're going to be able to catch the rest of the season here on both those. Next week, we head out to the desert, Las Vegas, 75 laps from the desert. You're going to be able to catch it on both those two links. But for everybody at the Salt Flat Racing League, the IROC series here, from everybody from iRacing along with the MaxSpeedTV broadcasting company here, we're going to catch you next week.
Yeah.